We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Voter fraud indeed. That is the Democrat Party. And at the helm is one of the biggest frauds of all times, Camel Toes Harris, leader of the Democrat Party now. Everyone's darling and love affair. Well, just a few weeks back, she was the least popular vice president ever. But I guess she was just one little promotion away from becoming the greatest thing since, well, nonstick bubblegum, sliced bread, Teflon pans, and I guess abortion on demand. Wow. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday Night Live. This is the Zoo. We've got thepreparedmind.club, subscribestar.com, and YouTube. We also got BitChute and Rumble and everyone else lined up in the works as well. Get subscribed. If you're here right now, I need you to thumbs up. I need you to share the internet address. It's up over here on this side. Share that internet address. Down below, if you want to comment, you have to be a subscriber. And if you want to do get your comments, thoughts, ideas on the screen, you just got to hit that super chat button. Now, here's the deal. Sunday Night Live is your guys' show. It's the Zoo. I'm just the zookeeper with my trusty zookeeper assistants, Jolene and Uman in the background. So, and oh, by the way, anyone who does a $50 or more super chat donation buys me a Glenlivet 15 years single malt Scotch whiskey that's been aged in a French oak barrel. There it is. There's that. And then for those of you who just want to get really crazy, I bought a bottle of Kraken coffee flavored spiced rum. That'll be a $100 super chat, and I'll drink that straight, not in a coffee, just straight. And it is just flat ass wicked stuff. It's like Bailey's on steroids. All right, let's continue if we shall. Into the show, let's do it. Starting off the show, it's always Chin Music and Darcy T. And tonight I'm going to start with Darcy T. She's done a $50 super chat. And she's such a nice person, always looking out for what's best for you and me. There it is. We like to kick the show off, folks, with a nice scotch, kind of lubricate the mind, lubricate the jaw muscles. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go for 2 hours with you guys right here. Down the hatch, Semper Fi. Mother's milk. Very nice. So Darcy T, it's already working. Darcy T has this to say. Have you heard the latest decree from Putin? They are looking for conservatives to move to Russia and no wokies allowed. They're waiving the immigration citizenship requirements for being able to speak Russian and knowing Russian history. I would never move there, but it's an interesting move by Putin. Plus, the housing market there is incredible. $300,000 American dollars gets you $1 million mansion and acreage at a beautiful coastal city. That's quite interesting. I never looked into it past Putin is just making this offer. I'm not into cold. I'm into warm, which is why I'm now down in the great state of Florida in the United States of America. But if there was nowhere else to go, would I consider it? Well, considering that the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, England, all of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and most of the world is going to hardcore socialism. And when I say most of the world, I'm talking about the Western world. The Western world, not China. China's already communist. Russia has already had enough communism, but it's crazy. I don't think there's any place safe in Africa. I think I would rather move to Argentina if I was going to move anywhere. But it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Russia, Putin, basically is saying, hey, come on over here if you're tired of this absolute crap. And it really is absolute crap what's coming out of the Democrat Party and the World Economic Forum. And just, it's incredible what they're trying to do. We are going to watch this all develop, though. Not just Putin and his moves, but also what is happening to the West, Europe, America. What is happening to us? Are we falling apart or what? All right, Darcy T, thank you very much. As usual, I want to thank you. Great opening questions and thoughts. And then we also have, that's right, none other than Chin Music. Well, he's done a great super chat donation of $52.23. And the question is, I don't know if he's got his question up to you. Oh, there it is. There it is. So let's start off with another 15-year scotch. And I want to thank you, Mr. Chin Music, again. Darcy T does PayPal. Chin Music does Venmo. So if you don't want to hit the super chat button up here, you want to use Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, or thepreparedmind.club. We've got a link there, and you can support the show. That's what the super chats do. They support the show. Here's to you, Chin, my brother. Hope you're well. Semper Fi and down the hatch. Like a bolt of lightning. Bam. Chin Music says tolerance is the lube that helps slip to the dildo of dysfunction into the ass of civilized society. That was by Plato. That's a quote from the great Plato. He says, just kidding, I made that shit up, but go ahead and change my mind. I can't. Tolerance, folks, is not something we should have. The same way they changed the meaning and interpretation and usage of the word. And what word is it? It used to be discriminating people like one type of coffee over another, or discriminating people, it was good to be discriminating. To discriminate means to tell the difference between the two, good people and bad people. We're starting to see who the bad people are we not? Well, I am discriminating against them. Yes, I am. And we all should discriminate against them. Right. So let us continue. Well, if we could go back there. Yeah. Discrimination, tolerance. What has tolerance gotten us? Well, they want us to tolerate them so that they can continue to push for more. You give a communist LGB fruitcake an inch, and they'll take a mile. We need to be intolerant of those who want to destroy us. That includes Hamas, Palestinians, terrorists, Central and South Americans who don't understand law and order. Anyways, let us continue. Chimney says, do we have enough men to do the cleanup job it will take? Sean Ryan, a former CIA and SEAL team member, is going to drop an internet with Orange Tyson tomorrow. That's how much media has changed. If it wasn't for a podcaster and patriot, we might not ever see this. That's why they are after the censorship so hard, and it's going to get worse. Love you guys. Fight on. I'll tell you what, Chin, that is exactly right. If it was not for social media, we would be done. 100% done. They don't want us to know. They don't want us to have a voice. They want to scare people into silence. Literally, folks, there are hundreds of Sharia law courts in England. And England is making it illegal to be English. A young man, a kid, folks, carried a British flag, and he got too close to some Muslims. So they arrested him, threw him in jail. A kid. These people are getting out of control. It's because of people being tolerant. Now, censorship. You got a big problem, right? The CEO of Telegram, you would never know his name. Uh, he's been arrested in France. Arrested in France. The CEO of a social media company, itty bitty little Telegram, because he didn't censor and silence people, he's been arrested in their country. Now, Elon Musk reacted to that, right? Elon Musk, he's basically been kicked out of Brazil. You know the countries that are totalitarian, anti-freedom, when they start killing social media. Zark Zuckerberg, that's his new name. Zark Zuckerberg. He's fine. Elon Musk says he's caved to the censorship pressure, even though you can go on Zark Zuckerberg's social media and find abused and sexualized children all over the place. What I say the United States of America needs to do is pull all United States support out of Europe, out of any country around the world until they learn to grow up. Canada, you want to be woke? Guess what? We are going to stop doing business with you. I think this is just a fine idea. Stop rewarding them. We've got so many problems, so too bad that won't work. Same with Europe. Stop supporting them. Stop giving them money. Stop protecting them. Stop trading with them. We don't need the rest of the world, folks. The rest of the world needs us. But the rest of the world no longer needs United States dollars. So we have lots of trouble. Lots of trouble. And it's just going to get nasty. That's right, nasty. Yes, Elon Musk. I think he's learned his lesson. I think he's learned his lesson about the Democrats and socialists. I think he's learned his lesson about other nations. I think he's learned his lesson about the computer and big tech industry. I think he's learned his lesson about a lot of things. Okay, here we go, folks. I haven't learned my lesson. Well, actually, I did a long time ago when I decided to reject. One moment. There we go. Okay. Yeah, when I learned to reject authoritarianism, when I learned to reject hypocrisy, when I learned to reject evil, that was a long time ago, back when I was a jarhead. I was like, I don't have to live with this. There's no reason. Nothing is worth trading your soul for, folks. Your soul. Okay, let's kick into the show. We are already at 300 people live right out the gate. Jolene, who wants to be the first to do a super chat donation? And it's Blue Cord Devil. Woo! We're starting off all right with another. Even the camera's like, it's a big start. Anyways, Blue Cord Devil starting us off with another shot of Glenn Levitt. $50 super chat donation. And he says, let's start it off right with some Scottish water, my friends. Cheers. Cheers to you, Blue Cord Devil. Down the hatch. God bless America. These are going to hit. Now, lucky for me, I got to tell you, I had a nice meal before we started the show, so I could be ready for you guys today. Ha ha ha! Let's do it. Who else is next? Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. I know you're going to have more to say as the show goes. Jolene, what else have we got? Who else have we got? And it's Bioxo 77 with a $1.99 super chat donation. And he says, lots of preemptive fireworks over the weekend. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of preemptive fireworks over the weekend. And one of the big ones I want to talk about, folks, is the Houthis. Not Houthi and the Blowfish, but Houthis, the Somalis. What did they do? They decided they were going to attack and blow up a Greek oil tanker over in the Red Sea. The Red Sea, folks, it's right there in the Persian Gulf. I wonder what needs to happen to fix those problems. Now, basically, folks, do you know why? Talking about preemptive fireworks, why did the Houthis attack a Greek oil tanker? Is Greece at war with the Houthis? Nope. You want to know why? Well, that ship, that company was doing business with Israel. Are we learning anything yet? Are we learning anything yet about Israel, the Middle East, Islam, jihadis, terrorists? Are we learning anything yet? Islam is not a religion of peace. It is a cult of death. And the Israelis managed to make everyone on the planet hate them almost everyone. So for me, I'm not really picking a side. I hate all terrorists, all terrorism, and all evil people, right? If you're a terrorist or an evil person, you need not apply to be my friend. Thank you, Biaxo, very, 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 very much. And let us continue with the show. It is Sunday. It is Sunday Night Live. This is your show. You guys get to pick the direction we go, the subject matter we talk. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, things that are important to me, but this show really is about you because Sunday Night Live is where you really support everything we do with your super chat donations and your great questions. You see, a lot of people, they've got their channels, they've got their shows, their podcasts, their social media content, and they control everything. I like to hand that control over to you and say, what's important to you? What do you want to talk about? And there is a lot to talk about. Money, the economies, the military, education, borders, countries, nations, belief systems. So much to talk about. What do you have on your mind? We've got 350 people live now, folks. We are moving up. Hit that thumbs up if you just showed up. Do it. Hit the thumbs up. And, of course, share the internet address with friends, family, loved ones, and your enemies. Let's piss them off. Because if you are a friend of this show, then your enemies are my enemy, and I want them to know exactly how much I despise them. Because they will lose their shit by watching me. Right? I am the epitome of what the left hates. Okay, let's move on if we shall. Jolene, do we have another super chat? And we do. We've got Big Dan, the man Erickson, with a $10 super chat donation. He says, after RFK endorsed Trump last week, I was watching CNN and MSNBC, and it was in full panic mode. Had too many beers, laughing and watching, and I had a little hangover on Saturday. That's awesome, man. I'm glad. Not about the hangover so much as, sometimes I get one or two of those, but that you had a good time laughing, right? You get out the popcorn, get out the beer, right? Get out whatever it is you need to do. Get out big old bag of orange Cheeto puffs and just get yourself covered in orange. Orange man bad and all. But this thing with RFK, I am not a huge RFK fan. He is against vaccines, and he wants to stop all the vaccination of children, which is causing huge amounts of trouble. That's about the only thing he does. But it's got to be really bad in the Democrat Party for a Kennedy at this level of power in politics to endorse a Republican. That's a big deal. You see a lot of Democrats, probably old-fashioned, fuddy-dud, boomer Democrats are going to go, well, RFK, didn't he get shot? Oh, wait, this is his son. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, if he likes Trump, shouldn't we like Trump? And that's the rub. There really are no political policies or concepts and ideas that come out of the Democrat side that are worth a shit. But what RFK can do is bring his voter base, who is not in love with Kamala, over. And so we're continuing to see these sort of defections. Are we not, Dan? RFK has come over. Elon Musk, years ago, was a Democrat. Then he was a moderate. And now he's like, you know what? Freedom of speech, pretty damn important. Looking at what's going on in his hometown or his home country of South Africa. Yeah, having a gun, pretty important. But apparently there are even more people, more surprises coming out to support Trump. Now, again, I am a very strict constructionist when it comes to the U.S. Constitution. I think it's very easy to take the Constitution word for word and live with it. I don't like left-wingers. I don't like Democrats. If they want to throw some votes our way, fine. I guess they love their country a little more than the average Democrat that thinks Kamala Harris is the second coming of the Antichrist. Good golly. All Kamala is going to be, folks, literally another presidential term for Obama. Obama is not running the Democrat Party. Obama's not in charge of everything. All Obama is a mouthpiece and a strategist for the anti-American powers that be. And that job really could be taken by anyone. It could be taken by Hillary. Right? These people are megalomaniac death cult leaders. Anyways, it's going to be good. RFK says there's more people that are going to come out and surprise the Democrats, and they're losing their shit. In fact, I think over the weekend, one commentator said, well, I think that Trump has this wrapped up now. I think what Representative Byron, same story. And then I guess a big-time Las Vegas gambler put all his chips on Trump and says he's going to win. It's going to get interesting, folks. Interesting indeed. This is your show. It's Sunday Night Live. We're 20 minutes in. We're at 375 people live right there on my counter. And that's just amazing. I would love for us to hit 500. So let's keep going with the show. What do you want to talk about? Super chat donations right up there is how you get on the board. Get your questions right here. I'll make you famous. Now, this is a topic I want to beat everyone to. This topic is incredibly important. Incredibly important. This guy right here. You know, this is from the Y Files, right? One of the jokes is lizard people. Lizard people. David Icke, for the last 30 years, has been writing about shape-shifting lizard people. Conspiracy theorists, right? UFO chasers, everyone, we're supposed to believe it's all bunk, it's bullshit. Who the hell thinks that that's true? People who can shape-shift from lizard, to human and back and forth. I don't have any proof myself. I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, I've heard testimony. But this time, folks, it comes right from the snake's mouth. The 90-proof demon, a.k.a. Nancy Pelosi. She wants to win back Congress. She wants to stomp Trump. She wants Kamala Harris to become the next president. And this is what Nancy Pelosi said on mainstream media with regard to their plans to do those things. She says, we're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. Now, I'll tell you what, the powers that be, the Illuminati, the World Economic Forum, they used to be discreet. They used to have secret meetings at the Bilderberg, right? Their Bilderberg Hotel, Bilderberg meetings. They used to have secret meetings around the world. They used to have little organizations. Now they have the World Economic Forum, where every globalist scumbag, banker, corporate owner, and politician go to talk about screwing us over. They're not discreet anymore. They're now in our face. But she's claiming they're going to be discreet. Well, rich, evil bastards, they're not discreet anymore. So perhaps by saying we're very discreet, she's talking about their cold-blooded reptilian persons. Why would anyone claim to be reptilian, folks, if they weren't? And reptiles are cold-blooded. So not only does she say they're reptilian, but they're also cold-blooded. Now, cold-blooded also has another connotation. It means they are basically soulless, without souls. Cold-blooded. She cold-bloodedly, Nancy Pelosi did, threatened Joe Biden that we can do this the easy way or the hard way. It's time to step down. And so Joe Biden chose the easy way and stepped down. That's pretty cold-blooded, don't you think? And then, yeah, she said during the DNC, the Democrat National Convention, love you, Joe. Just like everyone else. We love Joe Biden. cold-blooded, backstabbing, but a reptilian. You heard correct, reptilian. They are lizard people, folks. People like Nancy Pelosi, all of these people, they're lizard people, they're alien demons, they're reptilians. And Democrats are cold-blooded and fucking evil. No doubt at all. I hope you folks are ready for what they're doing. Could unless someone was cold-blooded, could they leave the border open the way they have? Right? If the people in Washington, D.C., the Joe Biden administration, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, if they weren't a bunch of anti-human, anti-American, cold-blooded sacks of shit, could they leave the border open for all the drugs to come in, the murderers to come in, the rapists to come in, all of that? I think it's a fair question. These people must be cold-blooded and full of hatred and evil intent because of what they're doing to children, right? Children are the essence of innocence, totally. Yet here we are with Democrats putting children at risk with books, right? Homosexual books in school, drag queen story hour, gender transition drugs available through the schools, hiding things from the parents. And I think that any teacher who tells any child, any person under the age of 18, well, you don't have to be the gender you were born with. You can change that, If you want to be a girl, you can become a girl. What the teachers don't tell them is once you start taking the drugs, your life is over. You're now living someone else's life, a life that was planted in your head. We have nothing but trouble, folks. And it's all the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans. We're over 400 people live right now, and we're going up, up, up with it. Share that internet address right up there. This is your show. What do you want to talk about? Let's get into it. Oh, okay. And Heidi sent me a message. Don't worry about the candle burning at both ends. You're correct, but I'll take good care. What do you want to talk about, folks? It is your show, Sunday Night Live. We're 30 minutes in and a long way to go. Now, there's a big difference between America and Europe. There's a big difference between America and our friends in Canada. There's a big difference between America, the United States of America, and the rest of the world. Over in Europe, up in Sweden, right, machete and hatchet and axe and sword wielding Muslims are running around terrorizing people, beating them up. Old men, young men, children. They are trying to kidnap and rape young women. They're also filming young women and putting it up on their sick little websites. It's quite a mess, folks. But in the United States of America, we have a choice. We can be like Europe and surrender our arms, stop talking, and let these scumbags take over. Or you can fight back legally and lawfully. In Texas, folks, a machete-wielding criminal, you can guess the person's appearance by saying a machete-wielding criminal, thug, tried to break into a house in Texas. And he was rewarded. Or some might say the surprise he received was not welcomed, right? Because the homeowner in Texas decided to use his Second Amendment right to show the person the door, to let them know it's not going to happen here. Number one lesson, don't bring a machete to a gunfight. Number two, for you and I as preppers, patriots, Americans, know your community, know who lives in it, and be ready to solve problems for yourself. I mean, if this homeowner in Texas decided, I'm going to call the police, they'll fix this. You've got a machete swinging, chopping, hacking idiot in your home. your family, your pets, and yourself are all at risk. You don't have time to wait for the police or the sheriff's department to figure it out. But it's starting to get out of hand even in America. That's why I say, right, be ready to solve your own problems. Do you agree with that? Let me know what you think. Get your questions in. Super chat donation. Tell me what you think. Are we going to have the same types of violence they have in Europe, where crowds and crowds of armed, militant, violent, murderous jihad Joes are running around now doing whatever they want? They are burning London to the ground. London is starting to look like, well, Kenosha, Wisconsin. London is starting to look like Portland. London is starting to look like America did in 2020 because these people are running rampant. The only way to fix the problem is to stop the problem. Period. Know your community and who's in it. Be ready to solve your own problems. If you don't do it, who will? I'm going to have no problem, folks. No problem at all. The moment I see one of these people, I will make sure that they don't commit any crimes. Now, I want to go over this. I want to put this out to you. Just a thought exercise, completely academic, nothing dangerous or harmful, not glamorizing violence. But if you see somebody, and they could be Jihad Joe, they could be, Vinny Valenzuela from, Colombia, right? Carrying a lit Molotov cocktail and a machete. Do you think they're helping the community out? Do you think they're helping someone? Do you see a person, right? If you literally see them, you're on the same street as them, same level. They're just 20 yards away, 50 feet away, 100 feet away. Take your pick. Are they an imminent threat to others? The answer is yes, in my opinion. They have a weapon, the machete. That is a chopping weapon, and it's being used. It is one of the weapons of choice of these idiots. And also the Molotov cocktail, right? A bottle, usually a whiskey bottle, filled with gasoline and a rag stuffed on top. And they'll take that lit and they'll throw it at a house, at a car, at a person, to catch them on fire, to burn them alive, to kill them, or to destroy a house. So there's two weapons here. Both of them can cause great bodily harm and injury or death. In a situation where anyone is exhibiting these types of behaviors, you have a right to defend yourself and protect others from great bodily harm and injury or death. There's one way to stop them, folks. As soon as they show us who they are, you introduce them to Samuel Colt and his good buddies Smith and Wesson. And if you're German, you might want to introduce them to Sturm Ruger. All righty. It is Sunday Night Live, folks. It is your show. What do you want to talk about? What is on your mind? What is it that's just grinding your gears? Well, I tell you what, folks. Is it our government? Are they the biggest threat? Or is it the people the government's let in? I think it's a fair question to ask. I think they're both equally dangerous. I think the people they've let in the country, I think that they are the mercenary forces that have been brought to cause trouble here, to distract us from the government and for us to look to the government and go, government, we need you to solve our problems. But the funny thing is, unlike a normal Hegelian dialect where the government creates the problem, we recognize the problem and then we call on the government, please fix it. And they solve the problem that they themselves created. In this case, they're creating problems, the government is, and they're not offering any solutions to fix it. Not a bit. I mean, just the Joe Biden administration, the camel toes administration, they're like, oh, we're going to fix the border problem. The border's secure. The border's never been secure under them. Yeah, well, as soon as as soon as we vote for money to give to Ukraine, we'll fix the border problem. Well, those are two separate issues. Fix the fucking border. We'll deal with Ukraine later. Nope. They actually got their money for Ukraine. Have they fixed the border? No. Kamala Harris says, elect me and I'll fix the border. Bitch, you've had 3.5 years to fix it and you've refused. Why should we believe you now? We have some problems. All right, let's do it. Let's get into some super chats. Buttons right up there. We've got Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, and the preparedmind.club for super chats as well. Who wants to be up next on the show? Who's got something to say? And it's Nancy Keg. She's back this week with a $10 super chat donation. And she says, keep using your voice to share the truth, John. Semper Fi. And thank you, Nancy Keg. I will. This is what we got. If I don't keep talking, folks, they have silenced one more American. If you and I don't keep this network going, they will have silenced a massive conduit through which information travels. We're just a small group of people, you and I. There's 80,000 subscribers on the Prepared Mind channel. It's a small group compared to the overall population. And not everyone is here every show looking around, right? But we all talk to each other and share with one another through the Prepared Mind Network, the R Syndicate, and all the other social media channels, sharing links back and forth. That's why I tell you, share that link up there. You're going to reach people who are patriots, who are preppers, who have had enough of this shit, and they've never heard of us here. So we can help them find us, find out how American we are, and that we want to make a difference. We will keep sharing facts, keep sharing truth, and keep sharing information that is vital to understanding the enemies of the United States of America. Back when I was a kid, the United Nations, they're bad. The John Birch Society was trying to get America out of the United Nations, right? And does anyone here even know who the John Birch Society is? Right? Probably not many. And if they did, they've heard of it, but they don't really know much about it, right? That's back before social media. So it was really hard to spread information to educate people outside the mainstream media. But with the advent of the internet, we're all able to be well informed. And the leaders don't like it, folks. They do not like it a bit, right? So thank you, Nancy Keg, very much. Folks, the government doesn't like you and I talking at all. A question I have is the United States State Department behind the arrest of the CEO of Telegram? Not in America, over in France. Well, Mike Benz, another, shall we say, citizen loudmouth, says, quote, I believe the State Department, at the very least, is participating in this political prosecution. Folks, they have arrested the Telegram social media CEO. They've threatened Musk. The world is changing to closed borders and dictatorial rulers. And yes, I agree. And I think the State Department is participating part and parcel to the silencing of everyone they can. If they can't come and get me and you, right? Like England says, they're going to come after you if you do any mean tweets, right? If you criticize England or you criticize the Muslims over there that are going nuts, if you criticize Keir Starmer, the communist sack of shit prime minister, if you criticize Islam, if you criticize any of it, you'll be arrested. They'll extradite me. Come and get me, you little bastards. Not going to happen, right? But people in Britain, they're being silenced because they're going to jail. Old men, children, wives, grandmothers, anybody who speaks up against the radical terrorist Muslim movement, whether they're Palestinian or Pakistan, it doesn't matter. Whether they're Iranian and not Persian or any other, shall we say, Muslim, they're just going nuts. So they want me to be afraid to say Muslim or Islam because that's Islamophobic. Well, no. I'm terror phobic. I'm afraid terrorists are going to start their shit in America. I just am, folks. It is crazy. And I think the United States State Department and the United States government, the deep state, I think that they don't like the fact that I'm willing to speak and you either. So they want to scare us. They want to silence us. They want us to go, oh my God, they arrested the CEO of Telegram. They threatened Musk. They've threatened everybody, right? And if they can get the big guys, they'll get us little people. Don't buy it, folks. Don't believe it, not for a second. Don't believe it, not for a second. They can't come after all of us. All we have to do is stand up for ourselves. Keep standing up, folks. Realize and remember, the Declaration of Independence tells us exactly who we are and exactly what to do with tyrannical governments. The Constitution was written to restrain a government, ours, so that it could not become tyrannical. If it wants to be tyrannical, if it wants to be despotic, if it wants to be evil and un-American and violate their oaths, I can't stop them. I can't stop them from doing that, but I can stop them from taking over. All of us can. And that would definitely be a collective effort. One person can't fix the problem, folks. Trump alone can't fix the problem. You and I, we have to be engaged. All righty, Jolene, who's in the house? Who's got something to say? Who hit the super chat button? And it would be Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat. And he says this: my 84-year-old mom is an independent voter, and she was going to vote for RFK. Asked her the other day about that, and she hates Trump, but is thinking about voting for him now. Now, that is a fascinating and interesting anecdotal story. It just is. My 76-year-old mother called me the other day. And she made some references and asked some questions about who I'm voting for and why. Boomers. They're so used to, boomers meaning our parents. I'm 54. Hard to fucking believe. I'm 54, but our parents are in their 70s and their 80s. The boomers. They spent a lifetime listening to Walter Cronkite, Tom Brokaw, right? The mainstream media. They listened to the McNeil-Lehrer News Hour, right, on PBS when they wanted to really be bored shitless. But the media now, the boomers, they're wondering who they're supposed to listen to. Well, I listen to ABC, I listen to NBC, I listen to CBS. I even listen to that new crazy Fox and CNN, and everyone seems to hate Trump. They don't know why they hate Trump, folks. They just do, because they were told to. They were told to, right? Operation Mockingbird by the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. They have been controlling mainstream media since at least the 1970s. And it just got worse and worse and worse. But technology, thankfully, has played a very important role in our lives. And here we are. We have the internet. I'm just a regular guy, folks. A regular patriotic American veteran who's had enough of this bullshit. Are you, right? Well aware. I'm really glad, Dan, that your mom is now considering voting for Trump. It sounds like she's smart enough to know, and my mother as well, that the Democrats are just evil, rotten bastards. My mother lives in Texas, by the way. And so, yeah, she's well aware of a lot of the stuff that's going on. But she's not, they're just not necessarily the biggest Trump fans because the media tells them no. So now that RFK is switching, that's why what he has done is important, because it's bringing over a category or class of voters that believes the media that Trump is bad, but now they have a Kennedy, an old world voice of reason to them, right? Hearkening all the way back to the 1960s, the Kennedys, Camelot, right? Not Camelot, right? Well, I guess it could be Camelot because, since, the knights rode around on horses and Twinkle Toes Tampon Timmy seems to like horses quite a bit. He's probably spent more time around the barn than Catherine the Great. Another old joke, folks. Another old joke. Anyways, Dan, thank you for the great super chat. And I'm glad that your mother, 84 years old, is starting to look around and start thinking a little bit more. That is great news. And I'm glad you shared that story because it'll help everyone get a better understanding of why people think the way they do and what way they're starting to think. I don't know how anyone can listen to the Democrats and think that anything they say is good because there is no policy there. There is just hate Trump. All right, Jolene, I think we got another super chat out there. Who is it? It's Chin Music. And he says Kamala is a 1%er. Yes, she is. She got 1% of the vote in 2020. He says less this time, and there's beta male nanny slammer Doug Emhoff's love child. That's right, folks. The beta male husband of Camel Toes, Doug Emhoff. He had a love child with his housekeeper. There's pictures all over social media of Kamala dressed like an absolute trampy slut for hire. And that's who they want to put in the White House. That is probably, and of course, Kamala, her dad being a avowed communist and also a writer of communist propaganda and books. You know where her thoughts are. It's all come out, folks. That's who they are, and they're for sale. All good prostitutes are for sale. And she is a 1%er. Nobody likes her, but somehow the Democrat Party selected her. Somehow, yeah, you got it. That's the party right there, folks, the Democrats. You got a house-wrecking, high-dollar alleged prostitute who's married to a complete loser who knocked up his housekeeper to create his beautiful love child freak. And that's the presidential candidate. And then you got the vice presidential candidate. And as Chin Music describes it, he says, hey, and the tampon beta has lied about every part of his personal life. Wow. Unbelievable, is it not? That this is who they are. This is who these types of candidates. Think about your hometown. These types of candidates, Kamala and Barnyard Bill or Timmy, right? These people would be laughed out of politics in a local race. It's unbelievable. Here we are, state level, no federal level, and they're at the top of the ticket. This is the absolute best the Democrats have. Are you disgusted yet? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Super chat button's right up there. This is Sunday Night Live. Go to, folks, thepreparedmind.club, C-L-U-B, thepreparedmind.club, and get what you need to be prepared. There's the website right there. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense for you. You need these items now more than ever. Don't you think that in England they would like to have guns to protect themselves from rampaging hordes of Muslim idiots? You bet they would like that. Canada, whoops, not doing so good there. Right? All of Europe's screwed over. It's getting out of hand. It is now time, and I'm going to just throw this out there. It is now time for a holy war. And I'm not the one who asked for it. I'm not the one who called for it. I'm not the one who started the violence. But it is going to be a holy war because they have sworn to kill Christians. And I just happen to be one. They have sworn to kill white people. I'm pretty white. So I know who my enemy is, and I know their tactics, I know their beliefs, and I know the one way I have to stop them, and that is to permanently stop them. Thank you very much, Jolene. Thank you to one and all. What do you want to talk about? Super chat button right up there. Who is up next? And we have Dan Erickson back in the house. Big Dan says, Walter Cronkite, miss him. Don't remember him saying what party he supported, just reported both sides of the issues. Walter Cronkite, folks, back in the 60s. especially was considered, and I'm just going to use a euphemism. He was like the conscience of America. He would report the news, everything that was happening, and he was nonpartisan. There was no reason to be partisan in the media back then. If you wanted people to watch you, you had to make sense, right? The things you reported need to be realistically presented. If you lied, no one trusted you. And Walter Cronkite was trusted. He was the voice of reason in media. Yep. I tell you, Dan, I remember as a young boy seeing a little bit and hearing a little bit of Walter Cronkite. He's just old school media. He's the very first big mainstream media guy. And of course, Paul Harvey was the very first, shall we say, alternative news guy who had his opinions and editorials on radio for decades and decades and decades. Crazy world, folks. Thank you, Big Dan, for the great support of the show. I tell you what, it is coming. It is absolutely coming. We're over 450 people live. I hope you've hit the thumbs up. I hope you, my friends, are having a good time. I hope you've got a drink or two. This here is just some iced tea. Down here, I've got the $100 Kraken and then, of course, the $50 Scotch. And I got to tell you, this is mother's milk and a modern man's medicine. I don't need a bunch of drugs to fix my problems. Just good old-fashioned Scotch. Jolene, who's up next? Where are we going to go? What do we want to talk about? It is your show. And Zombie Pumps is here with $1.99. And he's got another advertisement. Solar water pump package, $199. Rain tank to home. There it is. Thank you, Zombie Pumps. Look them up on, YouTube. Look them up on the internet. Zombie Pumps. Definitely, you're going to need, food, water. That's right, water. I think he also does some other items. Check them out. Thank you, Zombie Pumps, again for the support. Really appreciate it. Jolene, who's up next? We're almost closing in. We're almost there on the 1 hour mark. And it's Chin Music. He says, I know the economic stuff gets boring, but the Fed just cut rates. Yep, we're going to go down that road now. He says, there is no sound money basis for this. All 20 leading economic indicators have been negative for over 2 years. And the definition of recession has been changed. I'm going to stop right there. We have been in a recession for a long time. Because not only have they changed the definition and how they figure out what a recession is, they've changed how they factor inflation. They've changed how they factor a lot of things. The inflation, or rather, not inflation, but unemployment. We just had last week the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, which is just the BS, the bullshit. They put out numbers all the time that sound great for new jobs. And then later, weeks and months later, they revise those numbers down. They had the biggest downward revision in a long time. Chin Music, I know what you're saying. Economics can be boring unless presented in an entertaining way. And that's kind of what I try doing. I really try and make this show entertaining so it's not just death and destruction, right? So Chin Music continues. Even on Dictopedia, which is like Wikipedia, but it's Dickopedia, you watch and market. Trump wins, the old definition comes back, and they will pull the plug on easy money, and away we go, and he will get the blame. I share that opinion. Okay, that was a $22.23 Venmo from the Chin Music. Awesome. All right. The government has, since World War II, so do the math, since World War II all the way to present, when the government gets in trouble, they follow the Keynesian model. Maynard Keynes, economist, his model was, Well, you just loan the economy money through government grants, handouts, low interest loans. You get more cash out there, and that spurs economic activity, jumpstarts the economy. Brum, 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 the engine's running, and then the economy will go like mad, produce all kinds of, well, growth, production, profit, value. And the government doesn't have to do that anymore, except that's what the government does constantly, continually, and has done since the early 90s when they dropped interest rates from a usable, workable height, somewhere between 7 and 8%, and they started dropping them and dropping them, trying to make money easily available, inexpensive to get to fund operations. But where does the productivity come from? Where is the money made? How is wealth created? Well, by taking raw materials out of the ground, processing those raw materials, finishing them into a product like an automobile or a refrigerator. Those are large durable goods. And other things, other items, making things and then selling things, buying things and then using things. But the United States of America has exported its productivity, its manufacturing, its industry. So we don't benefit from any of that. Yet the government still, Mr. Music, I hear you, wants to make money cheaper and easier, and they want to give it away, and they think it's going to create a different result. So I agree that Trump, I think he is going to win the election. We all need to do our part to make that happen. But the economy, folks, the economy is in the ICU, the intensive care unit of the economic hospital, right? It's lifeblood, the United States Federal Reserve note, right? They have the word United States on there, but it's actually a Federal Reserve bill. A note is a bill. A bill is something you have to pay back. All those dollar bills, that's the blood, the lifeblood of the economy. But the economy is on the table in the ICU. We are now suffering under massive, massive inflation, and it's going to get worse. Helicopter money, printing money, giving away money, making money cheap. They're going to start dumping the interest rates, and it doesn't matter who wins the election, folks. We're going to go into a heavy-duty recession. Whether it's camel toes or Trump, it's just Kamala, Kamhola, hairy ass. She is going to destroy our country. Trump, on the other hand, is going to try and rescue it by doing what other presidents and other economists have recommended doing. Lowering interest rates, making money cheap and available. Giving businesses tax breaks. Oh, that'll help. Giving me and you tax cuts. That'll help, but it won't solve the problem. The problem is we have a fiat currency. We have worthless paper currency. It's only worth what someone else is willing to exchange for it. But that is all going to have to change. A CBDC also, central bank digital currency, is not going to save us. So instead of digital paper, or rather worthless paper, they're going to give us a digital paper, a digital currency that's equally worthless. This is where we're at. This is truly where we're at, folks. We're coming to the end of it. Years ago, I said when Trump was president, he's going to bring that plane in, right? The whole United States of America, and he's going to try giving it a nice, smooth crash landing. Instead of a straight down nosedive crash, they want to bring it down nice and slow and try and land it and do as little damage as possible. But the plane has still crashed. The wheels have been ripped off. The engines are toast. The fuel tank is empty. Right? Typical Boeing. And here we are. Just, that's what we got. Well, they're bringing it down. It's coming down, and it's going to stay down. Okay, Jolene, I got lots to talk about, but apparently we got more Super Chat donations. Let's do it. Dan Erickson with a $5. And he says, if a man is a woman, my AR is a double-barrel shotgun. Sure, why not? I think I changed one of my social media profiles. I am a fire hydrant, right? Men are not women. Men can't be women. Men can never be women. The best they can do is become a facsimile of a woman. One of the easiest ways to do that is to dress like a woman. It's called cross-dressing. It is a mental illness, right? It's a problem. The other thing you can do is, you can dress like a woman. You can put on makeup like a woman. You can start acting like a woman. Yes, definitely, you've got another psychological problem there, right? You got a mental disorder. You got a psychological disorder, a personality disorder. Let's see, and then that same man, if he wants to go further, he can chop off his genitals. Yep, and maybe get some fake boobs and some other prosthetic genitals. You're still not a woman. You're still just someone who is a psychological basket case with multiple psychological disorders. A man can never be a woman. Even if men somehow were given, how do I put this? An artificial womb, right? That they could raise a baby, and you're still not a woman. You're still a man. You just happen to have fake boobies, makeup on your face, you're wearing really bad clothing, and you have an artificial womb. Double barrel shotguns, on the other hand, I believe are good things, Dan. And while we're talking about AR-15s, who needs a high capacity magazine? I do. I need lots of them. You want to know why? Because scumbag thugs out of the ghettos, scumbag thug jihad Joes, they attack in groups, in packs. And they're not afraid of one person standing up to them. They are afraid, however, of somebody with an AR-15 laying down a smooth line of self-defense. Jolene, what are we going to talk about? What's up? I've got tons of stuff to talk about. Uh-oh. Trains don't understand. Trainees don't understand. No matter what you turn an old Pizza Hut restaurant into, everyone knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. Saw that meme today. I saw that as well. It's a Pizza Hut building. It has a kind of the hat or hut shaped roof, and you can turn them into whatever store you want. You can paint them different colors, but everyone knows it was a Pizza Hut. So there's your tranny thing right there. You had trainees there. You fooled me for a second, man. Trannies, yeah. They don't understand that. The Adam's apple. Men, masculine facial features. You put makeup on me, I'm not going to look really feminine. Not going to look good. Not a good look. Maybe these soy boy, low testosterone types that the Democrats are trying to appeal to in politics, yeah, they look a little bit more feminine, huh? I couldn't help but laugh at someone today. They had a fucking can of Bud Light. I had to laugh. I was like, dude, you're drinking Bud Light. Oh, fucking idiot. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Appreciate that very, very, very much. And there's a lot of stuff going on out there that we still have not touched. We're at the 1 hour mark. And I know that you guys have heard some more stuff. But the thing that's really getting me is what's going to happen on the street. Governments in their capitals around the world, us, we have the Washington, D.C., but it's on the street. Who is shouting for diversity, equity, and inclusion? The Democrats. Who is shouting for diversity, equity, and inclusion? BlackRock and other investment corporations. Well, how is diversity working out for people in Germany right now? It's happening again and again and again. A murderer was shouting, "Aloha snack bar," stabbed 9 people and killed 3. Of all places this happened at, at a diversity festival. So I'm going to ask again, how is that diversity working out? You've got a group of people who want no diversity. They're completely intolerant, and they're making the world into the image they want. That, my friends, right there is a lesson to you and me. If you want the world that you know you deserve and earned, then you have to be a person of action, and you have to be intolerant. And diversity is not your friend. Diversity is not your friend. You see, when the United States of America used to get immigrants, we didn't say, come on over, be diverse. We said, come this way. You're going to take a test. You're going to learn the language. You're going to learn the culture. You're going to learn the laws. You're going to learn our history. And you will behave, or we'll put you right on that fucking boat and send you back to where you came from. There was no diversity with our migrants, folks. They had to assimilate. And that's how that works. They're trying diversity now, and there's now a group of people who are intolerant, violent, and are willing to fight to make every country theirs. They know that diversity is not unity. And if you want to win a war, you've got to be unified. So they've declared war on white, Western, European culture. They've declared war on American and Canadian culture. And here they are, the Aloha snack bar crowd stabbing more innocent people at a diversity festival of all places. I tell you, folks, it's been one hell of a weekend. I hope you got some rest. I hope so. This week, we're going to have some big surprises. Big surprises, folks. Right? The problems are numerous. The problems are obvious. Right? We have the legacy of Obama, hope and change. He wants to fundamentally change America, and he has. You got Joe Biden's legacy, one of bigotry, racism, and having the mainstream media cover all of your lies with their own lies. And now we have Kamala's legacy, folks, right? We have an alleged prostitute who is slurped and sucked her way to the very top. Truly. And she has no idea what she's doing. She cannot put a decent sentence together that makes any sense, much less a real policy decision that we would hope to get out of a high-level elected official. But 3 years, folks, 3 years after, well, Kamala Harris and her good buddy Joe Biden bailed out of Afghanistan. And they did, folks. The Biden administration gave Kamala all kinds of credit for that. Right? The Taliban over there, who got $85 billion in military equipment, they have a new vice and virtue law. It is not one that is tolerant of anything else. In fact, it's very intolerant. It is actually banning the sound of a woman's voice in public. That's right. There will be no bare faces. Every woman will be covered up. And there will be no voices, no praying, no singing, right? This is the legacy of Kamala Harris, right? World governments are silencing dissent and pushing us into a neo-feudal system where the uber wealthy, like the sheikhs of all the princes there over in the Persian Gulf, they can do whatever they want, have as many horses as they want, drink it while they want, eat bacon, it doesn't matter. They'll just do whatever the hell they want. But the Islamic weirdos underneath them will just obey. And they'll just stick with the Sharia law, and they'll leave the very powerful alone. So the World Economic Forum, the European aristocrats, the super wealthy in America and Canada, they're looking around going, hey, we kind of like that system. The people are held down. They're very poor. They're terrorized. And we've got this thing called Sharia law, the Quran, and Islam to help subdue them so they don't ever fucking bother us again. We can do all of that and still maintain all of our wealth. Why don't we just do that? Well, that's exactly what they're doing, folks. The world governments are silencing dissent as they bring in Muslim power to control us on the street and go after us. Meanwhile, where Muslims own the country, once they've gone through all of that, they silence women 100%. They silence women. They throw a sheet over their head. You don't get to see sunshine ever again. Is that how you want to live? Are you willing to live that way? And that way for your daughters and granddaughters, etc. Well, I don't think our daughters and granddaughters are going to be very good at fighting off anything if we don't start fighting for freedom right now. We're in big trouble, folks. We really do. We're in big trouble. They don't like dissenting voices, especially people in their own party that they pissed off. Once again, RFK Jr. Guess what the Democrats have done? The Kamala Biden administration. That Scotch still works. The communists, the Kamala-munists, the communist folks, they are in the, how do we say this? They're not just on the verge. They have committed to full warfare with us. They just have. They've declined RFK Jr.'s Secret Service protection now. Well, because he's endorsing President Trump. Anyone who speaks up against them is going to be put in risk, right? You either fall in line or you risk assassination. That's now what RFK Jr. is understanding. Trump understands his Secret Service detail is absolute crap. Absolute crap. I could put together a better team of veterans in my neighborhood with no experience on bodyguard protection. And I'm sure we could do a better job than what Trump has been offered. And JFK now has nothing, or RFK. And I think this is a lesson for all of us to learn and pay attention to. Please think, if they're willing to do this to RFK, a Kennedy, if they're willing to do this to Trump, if they're willing to do this to Musk, folks, Elon Musk has had a couple of assassination attempts as well. They're just not in the mainstream media, so it's harder to hear about them. If they're willing to go after the big guys, the important guys, the powerful guys, the rich guys, how easy will it be for these reptilian, cold-blooded, merciless scumbags to come after you and me? Take them at their word, is what I say. Take them at their word. They're telling us exactly who they are and what they want. Now, I want to know what you want to talk about. This is your show. It is Sunday Night Live. What is on your mind? What has got you pissed off? What is happening in your world? Tyranny has begun, folks. Absolute tyranny. This idea that they could stop free speech, unbelievable, but they're pushing it. That they won't allow people to use their computers to talk to communicate, to share. Well, they created this great network called the internet, and now they're telling us, no, you can't use that. You'll be arrested. You'll be thrown in jail for daring to have your own opinion. Oh, it's happening, folks, right now. It's happening. They're not going to get our guns from us in America. So instead, they import 20 million illegals over the last 4 years. Average of 5 million a year coming in this country, ready and willing to attack us. All they need is someone from Washington, D.C. to hand them a bunch of guns, and it's on, folks. All right, Jolene Newman, let's do a super chat. What is out there? Who is out there? And it's Dan Erickson back with another $5 super chat. And he says the younger generations need to start waking up faster. I'm a boomer and freedom is not free. I'll tell you what, Dan, that is a problem with these Utes. They're not getting out of school what you and I got out of school. All of us on here, we went to school and we were taught about World War II, World War I, the Civil War, the American Revolution. We were taught about the Magna Carta. We were taught about the Pilgrims wanting to leave England and get away from persecution by the British Crown and the British Church, church and state. They wanted to be able to worship as they saw fit, which means they needed free speech and free thought. See, free speech isn't just about me talking, right? It's about what I think. If you can't speak about any religion, guess what? You don't have free speech. Who wants to stop your religious freedom, your religious speech? Guess who? Jihad Joes. They want to cut your head off. They want to cut your head right off. No doubt. They want your head off if you think you're going to talk Christianity. Over in the Middle East, they burn churches. They slaughter Christians by the hundreds and by the thousands when they can. Freedom is not free. These young kids out here, they did not grow up learning about World War I and World War II. They didn't learn how the Bolsheviks and the communists in Russia slaughtered the royals, the Romanov family, murdered the daughters of the Tsar by running them through, that's right, with bayonets. It was a massacre. And then after they got done with the royals, they went after the wealthy people, the middle class, and they stole everything and killed everyone. These kids have no idea. They think communism is a great idea, as if it just was invented. They may go, well, that's Karl Marx guy lived approximately 200 years ago. Boy, why hasn't anyone else thought of introducing us? Oh, they have, right? They've tried communism, socialism, 100 different ways. And it always results in the death of people, their liberties, their wealth, and their lives. Freedom is not free. A lot of these dumbass Utes think that Trump is trying to steal their freedoms, so they're going to vote Democrat. It's not just that they're young, it's that they're fucking stupid. They need more than an education. They need more than a wake-up call, right? They need, well, I don't know what they need, but they better get on it. You and I are going to give them a lesson in it. We're going to have to. Freedom is not free. And I got to tell you this. Tyranny is not free either. Tyranny is not easy. In order to get to a state of governmental tyranny, people have to be murdered, mass murdered, slaughtered, killed. There needs to be insane amounts. I mean, insane amounts. When I say insane, I mean insane. Right? Amounts of hatred and anger for everyone else. Right? The discrimination levels that happen during political, shall we say, turmoil is incredible. Right? The Bolshevik communists killed everyone. The German Nazis went after their enemies. The Chinese communists went after all of their enemies. Pol Pot, Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, every communist socialist out there. And Hitler was a socialist. Stalin was a socialist. Lenin was a socialist. It's all about paying a price. It's not free. They end up killing as many people as they can and then trying to use the current, shall we say, GDP to support who is left alive and then hope that the economic machine works well enough that they can survive. But communism always fails. Every time it's tried. Jolene Uman, thank you, Dan. Who is next on the Prepared Mind channel? It is, well, Blue Cord Devil, and he's back. He is back, and it is time for another tasty scotch right here. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate it, Mr. Blue Cord Devil. Probably one of the only shows, if not the only show anywhere on YouTube and perhaps around the world where the host gets his show supported with donations and a shot of scotch. We are American originals, folks. Blue Cord Devil, Semper Fi to you. God bless America. And scotch is mother's milk. That is just smooth. Wow. Blue Cord Devil says we all need to buy some lard to dip our freedom seeds in. All right, freedom seeds are bullets, ammunition. Bullets, ammunition, weapons, guns. The rest of the world has made fun of us, folks, whether you knew it or not. The rest of the world used to make fun of us. Oh, you crazy Americans, you bunch of cowboys, a bunch of buckaroos, right? We're a bunch of cowboys, a bunch of wild gunslingers, right? We're a bunch of violent knuckleheads. Look at Europe. Who's violent now? Whose cities are burning now? Who has their police running around protecting violent criminals now? Who's fucking crazy now? Right? The rest of Europe, the United States, Canada, we all looked at the German people and said, how could you let that happen? How could you have let Hitler come to power? How could you people have let the Nazis take over and the SS and the Gestapo and the whole bit? How could the German people be so stupid? Look at what is going on now in England, Ireland, Scotland, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Brussels, the Netherlands, the Scandinavian nations, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Greece, all these fucking countries. How could anyone let that fucking happen? The rest of the world right now is looking at the United States of America as the last bastion of hope for freedom and liberty. And we have our guns. And we are well trained and well versed and well read and understood in the law. This is the law. You could have rooms full of books, law books, federal rules, state rules, local rules. Constitution, folks, a very thin, small book. It's all we need. We don't need all those other fucking rules they made up. Those are to control us. This was set up to control the government. The government is now ignoring the Constitution and trying to fuck us over. We all need, well, not just lard. We need freedom seeds and freedom seed spreaders. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Awesome stuff. We're at, looks like, holy cow. The old vision's getting a little blurry there. We're almost at the 90-minute mark. Let's keep going. Let's get your questions on the screen. Find out what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? Jolene Uman. And it's Matt D with a $20 super chat donation. You hit that button up there, super chat. Now we're going to make you famous, Matt D. He says, 4 cities in my home state of Massachusetts are on a recommended lockdown at night due to some EEE mosquitoes. So the mosquitoes only fly in 4 cities and at night. An 80-year-old apparently died from EEE in Oxford, Massachusetts. Okay, so EEE, right? This is a mosquito disease. Mosquitoes are vectors, right? They're parasites. They transmit disease. They don't help anybody out, but there they are. But 4 cities in Massachusetts, Matt, right? I believe I saw some helicopter footage and a bunch of mosquitoes being dumped out. I remember seeing it looked like some sort of outdoor rally or function. And the people, and this is not at night, this is during the day. The people are just standing around, just swatting and waving and trying to get these bugs off of them. Incredible. Is the government using bioengineered mosquitoes to screw with people? A lot of people are fearing that. So then they're saying, well, dang it, I'm going to lock down again. I'm going to shelter in place. Remember that fucking term? Shelter in place. If there's an armed shooter in your neighborhood, shelter in place. No. Don't hide. Find out what the problem is and protect yourself and others. This whole sheltering in place, lockdown, hide is not going to work. Right? You want to shelter in place as the radical, crazy, Molotov flinging cocktail jihadis come? They don't care if you're home or not, or if you're there or not. They're just going to burn your fucking house. You better do something about the problem. These mosquitoes, by the way, this disease that they have, it's not new. And I think like 1 person a year normally dies from it. 2 people, 3 people. It is, in other words, a statistical, not a big deal. It's NBFD. No big fucking deal. But they're going to try and make it. If we can save just one life, it's all worth being locked in. No, shut up. Not going to happen. 4 cities. Now, don't listen to me. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Triple E mosquito. The triple E disease. I can't even remember what the hell it's called. Ooman might know. He knows everything. But I don't. I'm not afraid of it. I'm down in Florida, of course. Eastern equine encephalitis. Okay, encephalitis is a disease that affects the brain. Eastern equine. Equine means horse, right? Horse. So the Eastern horse brain virus. How many diseases do we get? And we don't even know it because our immune systems destroy them, right? But maybe I've had Western equine encephalitis. How about West Nile virus? How about the Z virus? Right? Every couple of years they try scaring us with more viruses. The hantavirus, the bird flu, swine flu. I mean, how many diseases they try and scare us? It's right. It's bat wing stew disease. Oh my God, it's monkeypox. I mean, why don't they just have like a Tyrannosaurus Rex virus? They try coming up with fancy names like the Omicron variant. Oh no, right? I'm not afraid of any of this shit. You know what I'm afraid of? People running around on my streets with knives and machetes. You know what I'm afraid of? Law enforcement out of control, obeying a government that is ignoring the Constitution. Those are real things, and they'll affect me a lot more and a lot quicker than a stinking mosquito. But could the government be dumping mosquitoes intentionally infected with the Eastern equine encephalitis? I'm glad that we spelled that out. Ooh, man, it freshened my memory. I'll tell you what, I would be worried if I took the Jim Jones juice. That's right. If I took an mRNA vaccine, I might be a little worried about Eastern equine encephalitis. Because if you're taking the Jim Jones juice, guess what? Your immune system may not be what you think it is. It may be a lot weaker. You may be far worse off than you know. So if you have taken it, my recommendation is make sure you're detoxed. Do your very best to get yourself strong and healthy. And I'm sure you can get some tests done. Make sure your immune system is okay. Right? You know, white blood cell count, that sort of thing. Make sure your body is strong. But if you've taken the Jim Jones juice, and you are constantly having the sniffles and the sneezes, the coughs and the farts, well, it's not the unvaccinated that's your problem. You are now your own problem, sadly. Sadly. And a lot of people got roped into it. A lot of people got tricked. There's a lot of people out there who are, well, they regret taking the Jim Jones juice, but I don't think there's anyone out there that regrets not taking it. In any event, folks, they're going to continue to use disease, famine, and war to bring death to us all. That's truly, folks, what is going on. Right? These sick bastards, war. Well, the sick Hamas bastards. Okay, got lots of them. I'll get to them. Jolene just let me know we got a lot of super chats. Let's take care of some of those, and then I'll get back to the sick Hamas bastards. Jolene, who wants to be next on the show? We're at 436 people live. And it's Dan Erickson with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, can't afford a scotch tonight. Bought a Benchmade shootout pocket knife. Tactical nice. For $325. Benchmade, folks, make some very nice blades. They really do. Make sure before you buy anything, you consult your local laws regarding knives and knife blades and how they operate. An absolute idiot named Eric B. in California gave someone I know and care about a switchblade. Very illegal. And I took that and I turned it into a law enforcement officer I know. That was it. Yep. Benchmade makes some great knives, though, folks. Of course, I'm partial to the Marine Corps K-Bar myself. I like it, but Benchmade, great knives. They just got a free commercial. And Dan, don't worry about the Scotch, man. You're a great supporter of the show, a great supporter of America, and a great supporter of freedom. Thank you again, sir. Jolene, Uman, what is up? Who's up? What's up next? What do we want to talk about? And it's Zombie Pump's back with another water well pump advertisement on the Prepared Mind channel. I tell you, he says manual deep well pump at 100 foot, $199. Ram pump, $99. For a ram pump, you need an artesian well or a spring or a creek, and you'll pump water wherever you need it to go. Anyways, I've always liked ram pumps. I think they're cool. You just have to have a water source. Water well, you're going to need a little bit of power, folks. A little power. Solar power, you can get solar power wells, well pumps. Anyways, call this guy Zombie Pumps. I'm sure he'll help you out. Thank you again, man. Appreciate you coming to the Prepared Mind channel. Jolene Uman, who's up next, it's Fish Now with a $2 super chat donation. He says, New York, 300 train cars for us to camp. All right, what he's saying is there's train cars being lined up, set up as human transportation, shall we say, vessels to go down the railed corridors to take us to camps. Crazy business. Crazy business. Right. This is what the Nazis did. They gathered people they didn't like. Homosexuals. Right? They grabbed them. Homosexuals. Who else did they grab? Jews, Israelis. Who else did they grab? Other, shall we say, anti-German or non-German people. And they put them on train cars. And they took them to various places around Europe, to the west of Germany, to the east of Germany. And they put them in concentration camps where they were worked to death. They were worked to death. So New York has 300 train cars. Fish Now, I would like to see pictures. We've seen train cars. We've seen them with chains in them. But were those for holding down automobiles? A lot of questions out there in my mind. What is going on? Cute little Katie Couric of NBC Today fame wants us in, well, concentration camps. Hillary Clinton wants us in re-education camps. They've called for the extermination of, well, people they don't like. It's just a matter of time, Fish Now. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a matter of time before the government starts going after dissenters, right? People they don't like. They showed us how easily they can do it with the January 6th protesters. That's why I'm not going to be allowing myself to be arrested. Number one, I'm not a criminal. Number two, I'm not going to become a criminal. Number three, I am not going to disappear into a black hole, never to come out again. And to say I would be lucky to be alive is an overstatement. Once you're arrested and put in that situation, being alive is one of the most unlucky things that can happen to you because they will torture you. This is what communist regimes do. This is what socialist governments do. They arrest people they don't like, and they arrest people that don't like them, and then they torture them and kill them. And they're already calling for it in this country. They're already showing us that, yeah, if you're a protester for Trump, then they'll lock your ass up and screw you over and destroy your life and your family. Crazy. Thank you, Fish Now. I appreciate that. Jolene, where are we going next? Who is, and what is going on? And Nancy Kegg has been a member for 26 months now as a YouTube member. And she says, thank you, Prepared Mind family, for having me. Semper Fi. Tell you what, Nancy, we love having you on the show. You have been here an awful long time, always supporting, always in the background. Nancy Kegg Thank you. You know the business. Now, I promised you guys, even though, hey, super chats come up here, we'll cover them. I promised you to tell you a little bit more about these sick Hamas bastards. You know what they're doing now over there in the Israeli section? The ones that aren't running for their lives, being shot to pieces and bombed by the Israeli Defense Forces. I'll pass on all of that. Well, they're now using the phones of the people that they've kidnapped to call their families back in Israel. That's right. So they kidnap someone, they take their phone, and they're calling the families, taunting them, threatening them, right? Telling them, yeah, we got your daughter. We have your son. We have your husband. We have your wife, right? They taunt people. They attack people. They kill people. And they're doing it in Europe. They're doing it in England. In England, folks, the English speak the same language we do. For some reason, they're allowing this shit. Remember, when they start their shit, this Jihad Joe shit in your community, there is only one cure for it. Or you can convert to Islam and wear your burqa. Are you ready for that? These people, folks, are merciless. Kamala Harris, merciless. Katie Couric, merciless. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, the cold-blooded reptilian herself. And I think everyone saw the videos of the weird redheaded lady who kept sticking her tongue out of her mouth when she was speaking at the podium. Not just a little bit, but in obscene kind of like snake hissing ways. Like she was doing this, like sticking her tongue. It's just fucking weird. I don't know what that was all about, but I didn't like it. That's for sure. Wow. There's something else that has happened. No one's brought it up today yet. But over the weekend, Israel has decided to launch, finally, its strikes on Lebanon. They're calling them preemptive because they believe that there's a massive attack coming from Hezbollah, the terror organization that operates out of Iran and Lebanon and is supported financially and with weapons through Iran. As far as I'm concerned, the United States government might want to stay out of the way with what Israel is doing. Better yet, why don't we send all of our students here in the United States of America, all of the pro-Hamas and the pro-Palestinians, why don't we send all of them over to Lebanon to fight for what they believe in. They're so strongly concerned. We should also the queers for Palestine and the queers for Hamas over there as well. Way over there. But I think that the United States of America would be do well to stay out of this. But what has the Harris-Biden administration done? Folks, did you know that Joe Biden right now is on vacation in California? That's right. That's right. Iran is striking, or Israel is striking another country with weapons preemptively. And Joe Biden is on a beach somewhere in California, relaxing. Kamala Harris, she can't read and sing the ABC song without stopping to get directions. Who is running this country? Well, don't worry, the Harris, and I'm going to call it the Harris administration, because Joe Biden is an absentee president, not just physically like where he's at, but mentally as well. So let's give Harris all the credit. We have tons of U.S. military equipment over there. The United States Navy, we got carrier groups, strike groups over there in the Middle East. Why? Why? I mean, what is the United States going to do if Hezbollah decides to attack Israel? Who are they going to attack? More sand? They're going to launch more missiles into more deserts? And if we know where the terrorists are and they're worth killing, why haven't they already been killed? We have a first-rate, center stage, shall we say, perspective from which to watch the greatest shit show on earth as it kicks off. World War III. World War III, folks. It is kicking off right now. Are you ready for more? That's what they're starting over there in the Middle East. That's what the Harris-Biden administration is doing in Ukraine. In fact, that little bastard, Zelensky, and that's what I think of him because that's what he is. He is continuing to say, you have to support him. You have to give him what he wants. You, me, us, the world, more money, more weapons, and they'll continue to do what they're doing. Can you imagine this? Imagine you standing at your home. You're at the front door. You've heard some commotion. You're looking out the front door, and you notice across the street. It's not on your property. It's across the street. There's a bunch of people out there fighting. And so you go stand on your lawn, and you continue to watch these people fighting across the street. Meanwhile, someone snuck in the back door of your house, and they're helping themselves to all of your food and your alcohol, and they're stealing your money because you're not paying attention. That's what's happening to us with what's going on around the world. We're all watching what's going on over in Ukraine, and over in Israel, over in Taiwan, and up in North Korea. We're concerned about what's going on over there, but we're being robbed. Our politicians have snuck in, and they're stealing our money and giving it away. Unbelievable, crazy stuff, folks. It truly is. Truly is. Well, where are we at time-wise? We're doing great. We're at an hour and 45 minutes in. We still have 420 people. That's right, 420. Live. This is your show. It is Sunday night. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Let's find out right now. All you got to do is hit that super chat button. Pow. Get yourself on the screen. We'll make you famous. What do you want to talk about? Jolene, who's up? We got Blue Cord Devil, and he's a member for the last 34 months. He says, dang, didn't even see this. I know I've been here since the lawn chair outside the fifth wheel with the cigar. That was, in fact, right there, the watermark up in the corner. Yep, that was me sitting in the lawn chair outside of the tarp shed smoking a cigar. And I was wearing one of my olive drab Force Recon shirts, or Recon Battalion. Anyways, yeah, we've all been here a long time waiting and watching, man. Waiting and watching. Now, it was over 4 years ago that I was, in a lawn chair, all right, outside smoking a cigar. It's been a long time since I left extreme Northern California. I used to sit out there wearing down jackets and smoking cigars and drinking scotch. It'd fucking snow and wind would blow and who knows. There's some crazy days there. Then I went to the RMZ, had some jungle training to do, some jungle survival. And if there was a way to escape where we're at, I'd do it, folks. I'd do it, but you can't escape what's happening. I could go back to the RMZ. There's 100 different places on the planet that I could make another RMZ at. Or I could go to that one. It doesn't matter where I choose, though. The problem's universal. That government does not respect people. And that people are victimized when they're not well educated and well supplied. Supplied with armament, food, water, shelter, all those things. So if I'm going to fight, if I'm going to have to fight for my life, I may as well do it in the country I love, the country that actually understands freedom, liberty, and the rights of men. And that's why I'm here. That's why I said, hey, I needed to be back here for the 2020 election, and I made it back. Right, just a few days before the 2020 election, just to watch that travesty happen. And it was an actual travesty, folks. It really was. Crazy stuff. Do you agree with me when I say that the World Economic Forum is responsible for the global tyranny that we're experiencing. Whether it's First Amendment shutdowns, whether it's attacks on our Second Amendment, whether it's attacks on our religion, our culture, our laws, is it the World Economic Forum that is ultimately responsible? Yes, George Soros directly throws money. Yes, our politicians seem to, for some reason, just agree to destroy their own countries. Why? What type of power do these people have that they can convince government officials to destroy our countries, destroy their own? All through Europe, they're destroying their own countries. Why? What could be so good as a reward that they'd be willing to do this? Tell me, 1 second. What could be so good? How much money are they being offered? What is being used to control them? What threat is being given to them? I'd like to know, right? The global tyranny's begun, folks, right? Not only did the Telegram CEO get arrested, but the CEO of Rumble ended up escaping from France once the other guy was arrested, right? Because the Rumble CEO, he's not censoring free speech, and he is vowing to fight for his social media in France, but he's just not going to do it from jail, right? The right to freedom of expression, free speech, it is an incredible right, and it's something that we've always taken for granted. I believe that Americans have, because it seems so fundamental, so basic, that everyone should just understand it. I can say whatever I want. Nobody has a right to not be offended or upset. Nobody has a right to say, you can't disagree with me, John. Nobody. But that's what they're doing. They did it with COVID, did they not? I couldn't even say the word COVID. I couldn't say the word vaccine. I couldn't say a lot of things because I was not allowed to have an opinion. I couldn't even share their version of reality, folks. All I had to do was say the words, even if I agreed with them, and they would give us strikes and take us off. That is the tyranny that you are living under now. It's not just me and my speech here on this channel while talking to you guys and answering your questions in super chats. No, it's everything is being silenced. Everything is being shut down, systematically being destroyed. Period. Are you willing to fight for your freedoms? Are you willing to fight for your lives? Because that may be what it comes down to. Truly. Truly. I mean, I want to cover this story, this angle. There's a lot of different communities in Chicago. And one that the mainstream and alternative media likes to look into is, what are the Black communities doing? How are they doing today? Well, the Black Chicagoans, right? The Black communities in Chicago, they are tearing the Democrats apart. They're screaming, they're yelling. They hate the Democrats now because illegals are being put ahead of them. Illegals before citizens. And the Black community leadership is saying it's all by design. It's all deliberate. And I have to say this: welcome to replacement theory. Now, this was called a conspiracy theory, replacement theory, but it's not really a theory. It's now practice, replacement practice. Who is being replaced? The current occupants. White British people are now a minority in their own country. Did you know that? In England, white British people, white English people, are a minority. Unbelievable, isn't it? Well, here in America, nobody gets to pretend like they're a protected class anymore, because you could be a protected class one day and not the next. Prime example, the Black communities in big cities, right? They thought they had it wrapped up, that the government was going to take care of them and use tax funds to, take care of their social needs and et cetera, medical needs, their infrastructure needs. You bet. That's what they thought. They thought they were protected. Not going to happen anymore that way. Right now it is, well, who is replacing them? Illegals. Illegals from Pakistan, illegals from all over the Middle East, North Africa. You bet, all over the planet. All over Africa, all over South America. The protected classes are only those who want to destroy everything. They want to turn a green America into a Palestinian sand-filled desert. That's what they would love. All of the beautiful homes that you see, well cared for, painted, nice colors. They want them all to be beaten into a paintless, soulless, monochromatic shithole of a country where every house is bare wood being destroyed by sunlight too. That's what they want. They want to replace all of us with a bunch of people who are used to living like absolute animals. And that's who they're inviting in, folks, animals. So yeah, everybody in America, the Japanese Americans, the Chinese Americans, the European Americans, all of us, Native Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, done. We're all done. We're fucked. They want to get rid of us. Do you disagree with me? Do you have any evidence that I'm wrong? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. We've got a whole lot going on, folks. Unbelievable what is going on. And we've got a lot more that's going to happen next. I want to just share something real quick with you guys. Right? The question of the day is who is negotiating in the Middle East? We already covered that. See, I'm going through and I've got a couple of news media sites right here. We beat everybody to the punch. We really do. Right? And of course, everyone knows that, RFK is being ostracized by his family. Do you believe it? Or do you think this is all a sham? Do you think this is all a sham? It's incredible stuff, folks. It's incredible stuff that's going on. We have one hell of a shit show coming in front of us. I mean, at every level, right? World War III, pandemic, viral outbreaks, small time attacks, ridiculous, all the way down to the lowest level. The Foo Fighters, who have a song called Hero or My Hero, they threatened to sue Trump. They threatened to sue Trump. Why? Because he played their song. So they're going to threaten to sue him. And it turns out, whoops, actually Trump did pay the royalties to use their song. I think it's publicity for both. But, we've got, even at that, just the smallest level, but all the way up to the top. It's crazy. It truly is. I mean, who would have ever thought that RFK Jr., a Kennedy, a Democrat, would join the Republican side and try protecting America? I mean, well, we would all think we would. Who can believe that an entire political party and half the nation wants to destroy America? Who'd have thought any of this? I'll tell you what, folks, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I hope you're prepared. This week is going to be off the hook silly. I'm expecting a lot of big news. Kamala is continuing to hide from the media. Even the media is asking, where is she? They're saying, well, we're trying to get her elected, so we need to keep her quiet. Absolutely ridiculous. I keep getting messages. I need to take care of some other business. We've come to the end of 2 hours. We're out of Super Chat donations. I've really enjoyed talking to you guys. The scotch was superb, just right. And here we are. Here we go. Folks, it's Sunday Night Live. Tomorrow is Zero Dark 30. And we're going to get into more danger zone topics as the violence comes home to you and me. No place is safe, folks. No place is safe. Chance favors the prepared mind. I pray you are ready. Semper Fi, Godspeed.